States of America, outside of Manhattan, and that is Brooklyn Bridge Park. All those piers that you see on the right hand side, Brooklyn Bridge Park, highly recommend to go there. That's like my favorite tour. Brooklyn Bridge Park and Brooklyn Heights in Dumbo. You can take the ferry from here, from Pier 11th, New York City Water Ferry, to Pier number 1. That's on the other side of the East River, and it costs only $2.75. If you take your bike, $3.75, and that's just amazing. You take your bike, you're right there, you go to the Brooklyn Promenade. Just amazing to see Manhattan from the other side of the river. To your left hand side, South Street Seaport. This was like one of the first seaports of the United States of America right here. This is a landmark neighborhood. All these buildings that you see to your left hand side, federal style building. Highly recommend to go and visit here. They have also a monument for the Titanic, which should have come here to New York City. So that's right here. Now, once again, the area between Brooklyn Bridge and Manhattan Bridge is called Dumbo, down under Manhattan Bridge overpass. And most of the warehouses that you have there on the other side of the river were converted into residential building. Now, you see right there the carousel is called Jane's Carousel. And behind that, that's 55 Empire Store. That building, the brown building, 5-story high. And they have an open observation deck. I take my tourists there to the 5th floor. I just press the elevator and it's free of charge. Doesn't cost a dime. And you see the whole side of Manhattan from Brooklyn. Now this is a brand new building, 1 Manhattan Square, with 320 units right there. And this neighborhood is called Two Bridges right here. So it's like Dumbo, just off Manhattan. But if you want a better view, of course Dumbo is better. So to your left hand side, Two Bridges, and then Dumbo on the right hand side. Now once again, in 55 Empire Store, it used to be a building that accommodated coffee beans back in the days. I'm talking about the industrial time of New York City during the 1940s, 1950s and 60s, etc. So all the coffee beans were inside that building, and from there they were transported all across the nation for the rail system of the United States. And then in the 1970s, with the invention of truckings and trucks, that building became decaying. I mean, it was empty, nobody wanted to be there, and a lot of drug addicts, prostitution were settled in that building, which we call today squatters. And during the 1990s, once again, developer came in, they invested money, they cleaned up the building, and today it's like one of the best locations in Dumbo, 55 Empire Stores. Now, this bridge is called the Williamsburg Bridge. This is the ugliest bridge that we have in New York City, the Williamsburg Bridge. But once it was opened, in 1903, 20 years after the Brooklyn Bridge, all the people that were living in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, it was like New Delhi or Mumbai back in the days, they just moved to Brooklyn. You know, they had better apartment, better view, better heating system, etc. Back in the days, Irish immigrants were living 6 people in 1-bedroom apartment in the Lower East Side. I highly recommend to go to the museum there on Orchard Street. It's called the Tenement Museum. I took so many tours there, you know, just to understand the immigration era that was here in New York City in the 19th and 20th century, how people used to live here. And it was so different than the time that I came in 2001. I mean, I just took an airplane from Tel Aviv to Rome, and then from Rome to New York City. And within like 15, 16 hours, I was right here in New York City. Back in the days, you had to cross the ocean. No internet, no Wi-Fi, no WhatsApp, Facebook, whatever. And you had to start your life from scratch. And that's the amazing story of a lot of Americans that can trace their ancestor 3rd or 4th generation, all the Italians, German, Irish immigrants that came here. So that's quite impressive in that sense. And of course the exploitation, the slavery in New York City, which has like, this was the 2nd largest slavery city in the United States of America after Charleston. Yeah. So there are a lot of history in New York City to discover. It's 400 years, but a lot. Now, to your right hand side, this is the Queensboro Bridge connecting Queens with Manhattan. If you want Spider-Man, it's all about the Borough of Queens. I love Spider-Man and Batman. Batman is my favorite. I just went 3 days ago to the new Batman. Hard to digest, I would say. Really hard. every new one is hard. I don't know. But Spider-Man, the new one, pretty good. So this is Long Island City right there, Long Island City of Queens. It used to be industrial zone, and then it became commercial, and now it's a residential. So you can see the transformation in New York City is pretty the same. First, we had the industrial zone and residential. Then it became commercial, a lot of office space. And then the office space, like in downtown Manhattan in Fidei, became residential zone. I used to live on Wall Street in a former bank. Used to be a former bank on 63rd Wall Street. It's called The Crest, with a roommate, of course, not by my own. And it was a former bank converted into residential. So you can see it a lot in downtown Manhattan. And it's very interesting what we're going to have today in New York City with the building, with the commercial buildings that we have in Midtown Manhattan because of the pandemic. A lot of people are working remotely through their homes with Zoom meeting, etc. And the usage of office space is getting less and less popular in New York City and other cities in the US because of technology. So you see right here on the left, this is all residential building. You can see the Empire State Building right there, 5th Avenue and 34th Street. Now that's the station for the New York City water ferry that you can take from Dumbo or Wall Street. 1st Avenue and 34th Street. Across is the Long Island City where you see the sign of Pepsi Cola. That's right there, that's the center. Tudor City, those are the buildings that you see on your left hand side. Then now you can see the front side of the building is actually the side of the building. Because back in the days, the East River was pretty much polluted. So when the architect built those buildings that you see on the left, they decided to design the front side towards the street, not towards the river. You see that building is a typical example of Tudor City. Now this is the United Nations right here. Hopefully they will get some peace between Russia and Ukraine, hopefully. Well, I pray for peace there. My sister was born in Ukraine and she lived in Israel now 19 years. So right now we're on 1st Avenue, 42nd Street, United Nations. And we're getting closer to our hotel, the Grand Hyatt Hotel. People ask me about tipping in New York City, so it is a custom to leave a tip on the tour. Usually I split half and half.